We'll have a look at that forecast coming up. WYZZ News at 9 starts now.
It was different when they first told us that they were holding off for 8 hours. But other than that, I mean, it was kind of nice just still having that intimacy, with him.
New research prompting hospitals nationwide to change their policy for bathing newborns. Why waiting could do your baby some good.
He was the guy that people would go to. When you had a question, you went to Trooper Albin.
Remembering State Trooper Ryan Albin, hundreds come out to lay a hero to rest. And a class action lawsuit against the Secretary of Education. Why dozens of states, including Illinois, are suing Betsy DeVos. Well, Illinois' historic budget battle is over. Good evening, I'm Lauren Langer. Thank you for joining us. This tops our 9 at 9 tonight. The House voted today to override 3 measures vetoed by Governor Rauner. A spending bill about $36 billion, a bill raising the income tax to nearly 5%, and an implementation bill. The Senate voted on Tuesday to override Rauner's vetoes. As a result, Illinois Lottery says Mega Million sales will resume. Well, here's a look at how local representatives voted today. Democrat Jahan Gordon Booth voted yes. Republican Mike Eunice also voted yes. Republicans Ryan Spain and Dan Swanson voted no. So did fellow Republicans Keith Summer, Dan Brady, Tim Butler, and Thomas Bennett. Now, in a statement, Representative Swanson says, quote, "This legislation does not sufficiently address the backlog of unpaid bills, does nothing but worsen out migration from the state, and hurts the low to middle income families and job creators in my district." Well, the highly anticipated budget veto override vote in the House was delayed this afternoon. It was scheduled to start at around 1:30, but around that time, there was a report of a white powdery substance near the governor's office. The Capitol was locked down for about 2 hours. A member of the hazmat crew says the substance has been identified and is not harmful. The Secretary of State's office says it has a woman in custody, and this is an active investigation. And here's what Governor Rauner had to say about the Illinois House overriding his vote. Quote, "Today was another step in Illinois' never-ending tragic trail of tax hikes. Now more than ever, the people of Illinois must fight for a change that will help us create a brighter future." The Illinois Federation of Teachers says state lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are paving the way forward. The IFT says, quote, "We hope this budget can start to undo the serious harm Bruce Rauner has done to the state, especially our public colleges and universities, and all those who have lost services because of Rauner's commitment to crisis." Well, the Center for Prevention of Abuse, one of many organizations that would have relied on reserves to provide services to women, men, and children. Well, now members are breathing a sigh of relief, saying, quote, "We remain grateful to the lawmakers who have to make these tough decisions, and we remain grateful to the people of Central Illinois." Prior to the House vote, we spoke with Democratic Senator Dave Kaler today, who says he doesn't understand why anyone would vote against overriding the governor's veto.
I think that we need to see the House as good as we can.
Kaler was one of 36 Senate votes in favor of an override. Well, another Democratic state senator, Daniel Biss, is running for governor, making a stop here in Peoria this morning. Biss says Illinois dodged a bullet and embraced compromise, saying, quote, "I'm glad that because rank and file legislators on both sides of the aisle followed their consciences instead of their leaders, we avoided the catastrophe of yet another year without a budget. Now it's time to solve our long-term problems." Well, small businesses could be impacted by the budget's income tax hike, as local shop owners wonder what it'll mean for business. Brianna Lee reports one owner is worried about losing customers.
Books have, I think, come to be considered.
In Peoria Heights, Brianna Lee, WYZZ News.
According to the Illinois Policy Institute, families could see an increase of $1,100 on average. Well, for continued coverage from our state's capital, visit our website, ciproud.com. More school districts are filing lawsuits against the state, Governor Rauner, and the State Board of Education. 17 downstate superintendents, including IVC Superintendent Chad Allison, filed the suit back in April. The state filed a motion last month to dismiss the case. 21 additional districts join the others today. That includes Streeter Township High School District 40. The districts say too much of the state's education funding goes to schools north of Interstate 80. They add the lack of funding downstate makes it difficult for districts to meet state education requirements, which continue to rise. Well, 18 states, including Illinois and the District of Columbia, are suing the Secretary of Education for delaying federal protections for student loan borrowers. Rules were put in place to protect federal student loan borrowers from being defrauded by for-profit colleges. The suit, being filed by Democratic attorneys general, accuses Betsy DeVos of violating federal law. DeVos said last month the rules finalized under the Obama administration created a, quote, muddled process unfair to students and schools. In other news, a man faces a charge of first-degree murder for killing a woman and setting a house on fire in Peoria. Brandon Scott was arrested on Monday in Sangamon County. Now, Scott's accused of strangling 33-year-old Erica Jones last month and setting fire to the house that she was in. Scott was found outside of the home the night of the fire and was hospitalized with burns. He's also been charged with arson. Scott is being held in the Peoria County Jail on a $1.5 million bond. Well, more than 1,000 people gathered to honor the life of a state trooper killed on the job. Ryan Albin died last week in a crash on I-74 near Farmer City. Law enforcement from all across the country were there to salute him today. They took part in a procession from Farmer City to Bellflower. State police say that when someone on their team dies, it's like losing a brother or sister. We'll have more on the funeral service later on in the newscast. Well, a local couple is helping underprivileged kids in central Illinois dribble their way to success.
A great joy to see the children. It was just a joy to my heart.
Relmer Deloche and her husband started the Julius Deloche Summer Basketball Camp. Their son Julius died in a house fire over a decade ago, and they see this as a way to give back while honoring their son's memory. The camp is free for 5th through 8th grade students, and it'll be held over at the Dream Center. They'll be meeting this Saturday and every Saturday after that for the next 6 weeks. Well, a candy shop in downtown Peoria has a new owner. Jane Scott, who also owns Jane's Sweet Addictions, will be taking over the Nut House. It's a 100-year-old family-owned business.
After the first making everything here fresh.
One of the changes the business will be making includes adding more flavors of fudge. Well, a popular Chicago-based restaurant will open up next month. According to our news partner WJBC, Portilla is expected to open up on August 15th, right as students return to Illinois State University and Wesleyan. The restaurant is interviewing candidates to work at that restaurant. The town of Normal faced criticism for providing $1.8 million in sales tax rebates to the developer. Mayor Chris Coos defended the investment, citing an expected increase in property taxes. Well, it's time to check in with Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates with a quick look at that forecast. Chris?
Hey, Lauren, nice hot day in central Illinois in just a few moments. Lauren?
Chris, thank you. A warehouse bursts into flames, causing problems for a business next door. A look at what happened ahead.
Oh, it was terrifying. A neighbor child comes running up and says, Bryson's being attacked by a dog.
Plus, a neighbor let his dog off the leash, and this happened. The message the mom is sending to pet owners. And Washington High School grad Shelby Summer is known for two things. She's known as a good softball player and for wearing her white cap. She started wearing it just to play softball, but now that well-worn cap is a part of her, almost as like lipstick and makeup. Kurt Begler has that story later on in sports.